screen test with Kate Winslet, Leonardo refused to read some of the lines of Jack Dawson, his character, seriously. It didn't matter a bit because Cameron and Kate both realised his potential. Kate was so intent on having Leo as her leading man that she personally sent him a single rose signed Your Rose, the name of the character. She and Cameron worked relentlessly on the start to try and get him to sign on the dotted line, and finally he gave way and agreed to take on what was to become his first multi-million-dollar part.
Titanic went on to be the highest-grossing film of all time. It was nominated for 12 Academy Awards and won 11. Although Leonardo was not nominated for an award, the role as Jack Dawson had a catapulting effect on his career.
I wouldn't give it up. The opportunities that I've been given from that movie up for anything. It's given me great opportunities, and I'm thankful for that.
But with Titanic fame came Titanic trouble. From early on, Leonardo seemed to be chased by legal tangles.
1995, Leonardo, Tobey Maguire and a few other young actors decided to improvise in front of the camera, or so they thought. A feature-length drama, Don's Plum, was put together, which was full of crude talk and bad language. And Leonardo and Tobey decided to sue the filmmakers, claiming they never agreed to take part in a full-length feature film. In 1998, Leonardo sued Playgirl magazine over their plans to publish nude pictures of him. The origin of the picture was unclear and may have been clandestinely snapped during a love scene on a movie. The magazine reportedly paid an undisclosed amount to DiCaprio in damages.
Between and among legal battles, in 1998, Leonardo was cast in another period piece, the historically based film called The Man in the Iron Mask. The film was shot in France with the legendary French actor Gérard Depardieu.
No, I was very impressed by Leonardo because he's, at that time, he's 22 years old. And he's such a lot of experience, but he's got beautiful scenes because he listens and he mimics all the time, but he knows the best way of each other, you know, and that's very strong.
Along with Depardieu, the 24-year-old actor had the chance to work with a number of other screen legends. The impressive cast included John Malkovich, Jeremy Irons, and Gabriel Byrne.
The interesting thing was, going into a situation not really knowing any of them at all, and knowing their work completely and admiring them, and sort of realizing that they all must have completely different processes, and how sort of all these great processes and all these great actors would get together, and if they would get along, or if it would be any kind of weird ego problems or whatnot. And right away everyone recognized. I think everyone was honored to be with each other. You know what I mean? We all felt. I certainly felt honored to be there, and sitting amongst all these guys, acting with them, and I learned a lot just by watching their processes, and I think right away everyone clicked and recognized that we were happy to be there, and it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and thus everyone acted like school children, and were constantly making jokes and being ridiculous all day, which was fun.
The fun helped Leonardo offset the difficult task of playing twin characters who were enemies, King Louis XIV and his identical brother, Philippe. It was an unusual challenge.
Getting into each character was, that's the fun part for me as an actor, is sort of being comfortable with each one of the characters and being able to switch over, sometimes 4 times in one day. That's fun.
The film had a good opening weekend, probably due to Leonardo's colossal popularity still flying high off Titanic. But quickly, the ticket sales dropped off. Fortunately, Leo could forget about the box office disappointment by basking in the idealistic setting of his next big movie, The Beach. Shot on the exotic Pai Pai Island in Thailand, the 26-year-old was ready for something new.
Something about the character struck a chord in me. Something about the story struck a chord in me. I loved this idea of this young man going off in search of a real tangible emotion, a real experience, rather than, everything being so structured in his life.
It wasn't just the character that appealed to Leonardo, it was also the political underpinnings of the story that rang true for him. In many ways, the idyllic setting made the shoot more like a vacation than work.
Unfortunately, the film sank at the box office. A few months after the film's release, the disappointed actor met Gisele Bündchen at a party in Hollywood, and she immediately helped him to forget the soggy reviews. The couple fell madly in love and were quickly seen about everywhere in Hollywood. Plus, Leonardo already had another new, exciting project on his mind to be directed by one of his idols.
I heard about Martin Scorsese wanting to do a huge coming-of-age story, an epic set in America about Irish immigrants, gang members. I didn't know much about it, but I knew that it had a part as a lead for a young man, and he was my favorite director of all time. And I was blown away. It was the best news I'd ever gotten in my career.
Although Leonardo eagerly wanted to work with Martin Scorsese, as it turns out, Scorsese had been watching Leonardo for quite some time.
My close friend and collaborator, Robert De Niro, told me about him specifically. He doesn't usually do this. He told me he did a film with him called This Boy's Life. The kid was 15 years old, apparently. He said, watch this. He's a very interesting kid, a very interesting actor. And he said, someday you should work with him. And then he did Titanic. And right before he did Titanic, I saw This Boy's Life. I saw What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And I just knew him as really an actor with a great deal of promise and extraordinary energy and talent. So when Titanic occurred, and he became a great movie star, at that point, along with not only would I feel secure with the young man as an actor, but also bankability.
Leonardo was so enthralled about being a part of this film that he and Scorsese actually took pay cuts to keep the budget under control.
Up next, Leonardo takes the act out of acting.
In one fight scene between his character Amsterdam and a rival gang, he actually broke fellow actor Daniel Day-Lewis's nose. Daniel Day-Lewis, amazingly, carried on acting until Scorsese yelled, "Cut." Leonardo clearly has a soft spot for dark environments and films with edgy characters, so Gangs of New York was perfect for him.
To be honest, I mean, this was almost like a circus of freaks down there. Only if you were very courageous you would go down there. People were half drunk on the worst types of alcohol, committing all kinds of horrible sins on each other. It's a place of debauchery, and it was the lowest of the low. It was the low point of New York, but it was the point where it was a place where politically a lot of the initial, when the riots happened, people first spoke out about the injustices that they felt that were put upon them, and those were the first Irish immigrants first started to rebel against the war.
The Scorsese-esque fashion garnered the film 10 Academy Award nominations, but no wins. In the same year, Leonardo appeared in another high-profile film with another master director, Steven Spielberg's Catch Me If You Can. Leonardo won a Golden Globe for Best Actor for his role as real-life conman Frank Abagnale. Leonardo's acting was even more impressive considering that he was sick with the flu for the majority of the fast-paced shooting schedule.
The great thing about Leo is, sometimes, because we were moving the camera around pretty fast, we'd do a scene, and then we'd have about 10 minutes to light. Leo would just flop down, take a cat nap, get up, look really fresh. His mojo would be working, his endorphins kick in, and he's right there at the top of his game. And then he crashes again.
The worst thing was how physically exhausting this film was. I mean, I was sick for a good 2 months because of the pacing of the film, but I think it was really important because it was very reflective of Frank's actual life.
Although Leonardo himself was passed over by Quick and the Dead director Sam Raimi for the star role in Spider-Man, he was very content to watch his good friend Tobey Maguire become the web-swinging star himself. The two had risen through the ranks and remained good friends all the way through their careers. Leonardo was doing fine for himself anyway. He went on to be cast by his friend Scorsese as Howard Hughes in the biopic The Aviator.
It went beyond my expectations. really. I mean, to be able to capture a sort of mythic, mysterious figure and personality and multi-dimensional personality like Howard Hughes, there's so many different elements that can work against you. There have been many film attempts in the past to try to portray this man because of how interesting he is. And I think by being able to focus on his younger years, where you see an initial descent into madness, it's not the aftermath. You see a man that's the first American billionaire, the first pioneer in the world of aviation, a huge, presence in Hollywood, the golden era of Hollywood, and making these, monumental epic films, coupled with the fact that he has an intense fear of microscopic germs that eventually made him a madman. All that was such a dynamic combination of things that could have easily gone wrong, but the movie went beyond my expectations, so I'm so proud. I'm very proud.
But it was a lot of hard work getting there.
It was, a long process. We had about a year of rehearsal time, which was very good because of the scope of the character in the movie. I met with doctors who specialize in obsessive compulsive disorder, and kind of lived with the man for a couple days who had OCD. Met Jane Russell, who worked with him, and Terry Moore, his ex-wife, and read everything I could, watched the footage, and really had marathon rehearsal periods with John Logan and Martin Scorsese.
As his second film experience with director Martin Scorsese, Leonardo's admiration for the legendary director only deepened.
You come in with your intention of a scene, and sometimes it could be completely turned around. He may have a completely different attitude, and you have to be prepared at any time to go with that. But really, the most amazing thing with him is his intense knowledge of movies and the history of cinema. Besides that, he has a genuine love for working with actors and making movies. It's a great passion of his life.
Scorsese has a similar appreciation for his lead actor. Leonardo observed how his leading ladies were so motivated to work with Scorsese that they left nothing to chance.
It's a cliche in Hollywood. Who do you want to work with? Oh, Martin Scorsese. People don't come in unprepared, to meet him. Even Gwen Stefani, has a small role in this film, came in as Jean Harlow. She had fur on and the hair was done up. Kate Beckinsale came in as well. She was Ava Gardner. So they did a lot of the homework beforehand, and these women really came in and embodied these characters, especially Kate Blanchett coming in and trying to portray Katharine Hepburn as one of the most iconic female figures of the 20th century,
Leonardo had to find a way to understand how Hughes dealt with the beautiful women in his life.
I kind of looked at his relationship with women the same way he looked at airplanes, I think he had genuine love for them, but he couldn't stick with just one. He was always moving on to the new faster airplane, the bigger turbine jets, the sleeker new look, and the same with women. He constantly was changing and couldn't just sit in one cockpit. That's a good analogy.
The Aviator was nominated for 11 Academy Awards, and this time Leonardo was included. While the dedicated actor remained hopeful, he did not let it get to his head.
It's the cherry on the sundae. You put all this work into a movie, you release it out there, you never know how people are going to react. It's hard enough to make a movie in the first place, but then there's the whole element of the audience's reaction to it. Anyone would be a fool to say they wouldn't want to be recognized for something like that, so I can only wish for the best.
Although the film won 5 Oscars, neither Leonardo nor Scorsese took one home. But it hardly mattered. The Aviator was Martin Scorsese's first film to gross over $100 million.
Scorsese had no hesitation in continuing the collaboration, and he cast Leonardo in his next film, The Departed. But it was almost Leonardo himself who became the Departed when a crazy, disturbed woman at a party he was attending smashed a broken bottle at his neck. Leo was rushed to hospital and received 12 stitches. Although the gash did come close to his jugular vein, he was lucky that he escaped severe disfigurement or permanent injury. Originally inspired by the Thai nature reserve that served as the location for his film The Beach, Leonardo has really been persistent in his devotion to saving and protecting the environment. In 1998, the star formed the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation to support a number of Earth-friendly causes. In 2000, he was invited to be the chair of Earth Day and took the opportunity to interview President Clinton on television about his environmental agenda.
But Leonardo is not all business. He has had other passions in his life along with the environment. The Hollywood hunk has had an on-again, off-again relationship with the gorgeous Gisele Bündchen for over 5 years. Even after dating for so long, the stunning couple is not ready to commit, which should come as good news to the legions of love-struck DiCaprio fans. Leonardo has enjoyed the fruits of his hard work. His wealth and fame are at an apex, but deep down inside, he is still just a regular kid who grew up in Echo Park.
What a lot of people don't realize is that I'm sort of cocooned in my environment at home, and I have my regime of things that I do, my family, my friends, places I go, but I've lived in the same place my whole entire life, and it's not always like how it's perceived, most of the time when you focus on an actor's premiere time or movie time or media time, when a lot of attention is focused on me, but other than that, with a good hat and glasses, I'm pretty much able to go wherever I want.